Jai Baba. My name is Dara Manchersha Katrak. I have known Baba for the last 43 years. This is the building where I live and where he used to come when he used to visit Bombay. This is my apartment where he often did us the honor of going in whenever he used to come on the third floor. He always stepped down on the second floor and came into our apartment. Shall I go in? Sorry. Will you please come in my room? This is the inside of my room where beloved Baba used to come in every time he visited our place. He was always, as usual, very cheerful, and whenever he came, he always used to greet us, sometimes or even always embrace us all and make us feel at ease completely. Then he used to come and sit on this sofa, and we used to remain with him till such time as he could spare. Now I would like you all to meet the members of my family. Here is my mother, Alamai Manchersha Katrak, who has known Baba all these years since 1928. And here is my sister, Miss Dina Taupula, M. Manchersha Katrak, who has also known Baba since we all knew him since 1928. It was during 1928 that we had the first occasion to know about Baba, and we went to Ahmednagar on the hill to see him. At that time, our daddy was also with us, and we all four went on the top of the hill. Since this was our first meeting, we were advised not to talk too much to Baba, but only to get his darshan and then come down. So immediately after meeting him, we came down, but by the time we met him, he disarmed us so much with his cheerfulness and his always don't worry attitude that we were very happy, as this was our first experience. Then we came down the hill. Immediately after we came down the hill, Baba sent Faradun Dadachanji, who was one of his close disciples, Faramrose Dadachanji, who was one of his close disciples, and he asked my mother whether she had to say anything in particular to Baba. Since this was our first experience, we just said, no, nothing in particular. But then he insisted that there must be something you want to say which you are not revealing. And so she said that there was a regular complaint about some pain in the stomach, which she wanted to bring to Baba's notice, but unfortunately could not do. So we all went up the hill again with Faramrose Dadachanji, and Baba again met us. And as usual, he asked us not to worry, and he said everything will be all right. But he asked Mummy to take, when she went to Bombay, every day 2 roses per day in the morning. As it always happens, though roses are available all the season round in Bombay, it was so difficult to get even 2 roses. That is one of the great, one of the experiences one comes across Baba when he asks us to do very little common things, but unfortunately sometimes we are not able to get even those 2 roses. Now I will request my mother, who is 82 years old, to narrate her experience of her contact with Baba. One night after we returned from Ahmednagar and we were all asleep, Baba came, we were all asleep and I was still ailing at that time. One night, Baba suddenly came to our house and entered through our main door. He had brought at that time a stretcher. He had brought at that time a stretcher and he had tied a cloth over his forehead. When he came near my bed, he put the stretcher beside my bed. He then lifted me from my bed and put me on the stretcher. He then took, as with a small instrument, he then just put a small cut in the part that was ailing, and then he removed the undesirable elements from there and then put them in, and then put these in a small pan that was besides the bed, and then with the cloth that he had tied on his forehead, he rubbed off the portion and then again put me on my bed. Then he took a pad that was lying on the table and wrote that nobody should touch anything that what I had done, and that a doctor, a specialist should be consulted if there is any trouble in future. Then he suddenly disappeared as mysteriously as he had come. When I got up in the morning, I felt, although overjoyed, I felt that there was no concrete proof that I could show in support of the story that I was to narrate to my people, and I felt that they would not believe it unless some sort of concrete proof was presented to them. So naturally, she prayed and beseeched in her own way to Baba that although you have done so much, what can I say and what is the proof that I had this unique experience? As it would happen, the very next day, Baba came in the same night, that is in the next night, through the same door. He came near my bed, and then there is a hollow in the wall where we used to keep what we call the rakhya of Baba, that is the ashes that we bring from Ahmednagar. He took portion of that ashes and tied it up in a piece of paper removed from the block, and he kept the same again on that same place from where he had taken, and then he disappeared. In the morning we found that small piece of rakhya wrapped up in the paper, and we have still preserved the same, and it is here for your, if you want to see, you can have a look at it. May I open it for you? Yes. Yes. Very good. This is the rakhya that we found wrapped up by him when he came on the next day, and we have still preserved it all these years. Ashes. Then, when this story was related to a few of the people, including Mr. Sorabji Desai of Navsari, who was a great literary figure at that time and a great follower of Baba, he requested that the same be published in some of the papers, and we received requests from so many people to publish this anecdote. But unfortunately at that time, that was our first year, and you know, this taboo and sentimentalism, we could not face the world, and this thing could not be published at that time. This was what my mother felt, and after that we had a tremendous faith in Baba, although very frankly we have not any theoretical knowledge of his great spiritual work. We all felt that we were going to a very great personality, one with divine knowledge and divine love, who could spread his message and who could disarm us with his smiles, and whatever the worries and whatever the difficulties that one faced, these would disappear immediately when one was in his presence. And he always made us feel that although we are all human beings, still if we do not worry and if we love each other, there won't be anything that we can fear in this world. He always made us very self-conscious and brought us full confidence. And throughout our life, we have always felt that with him, we have gained confidence, we have tried to be natural, and we have tried to love as much as possible within our limits.
બાબા પૂછે છે કે આ એ લોકોને બી બધાને આપ્યું કે મેં ના કહ્યું કે નહીં, એ તો આટલું ચમચી છે તો બધાને કેમ આપું. પછી મારો હાથ પકડીને લઈ ગયા, એટલે પેલા બધાઓને ચમચી 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 મુકાવ્યું. હજી બધાને મૂકતા બી જેટલી ને તેટલી જ અંદરની વસ્તુ ચડે. અને પછી
Now I will relate one more anecdote that my mother has just related, and that is the inscrutable ways in which Baba used to work. Very often he used to come to our place and we used to serve him, and he used to honor us by eating at our place, and my mummy used to cook for him. One day he had come with a pretty good mandali, about 30 or 40 in number, and she had prepared food for all of them, but a special dish of very small quantity for Baba. When she brought this dish to Baba, Baba asked her whether this dish was also served to all his mandali. She said, "No, Baba, this is a very small quantity and it cannot be served to all of them." Baba said, "That's not fair. My mandali is first and I always afterwards." So he took me along with him to the kitchen, and then he brought we took one spoon and then asked me to distribute whatever was there in the special dish to all. And to my surprise, even after distributing one spoonful to all of them, there still remained the same quantity which was then given to Baba. This incident happened sometimes in 1931 when Baba was on his way to Iran. Now, I will tell you something about how he used to come to our place and how we used to benefit from his presence. Whenever he used to come, he was always cheerful and buoyant, and he used to walk with that brisk walk that we are so much accustomed with. And he used to come and sit, and then sometimes he used to call us also to play with him, and we had many a game of carom and cards. Of course, that is the way how Baba always said that sometimes even a God-man has to come down to make himself with all these common people so that we are all one. One day, at one time in Pune, when we were all called, about 20 of us, he asked us to play cards. And then he told us, do you know that I am God? And do you know that in spite of being God, I am playing with you? And then he said, okay, don't think because I am playing with you, I cease to be God. I am one with you. And even God, I assume the garb, although I am God, I assume the human form. And I am with you and I am one of you, so that you may all get from me some knowledge. Rather, you may all get from me the experience that you will normally get. Not by lectures, but by just this social mix-up. By social mix-up, I mean the savas, the regular savas, where disciples from east and west used to gather for days together in the company of Baba.
Yes, my mother used to cook daily for Baba. One day Adi Rani came and asked for milk. Mummy gave. Yes, Mummy gave dal, and Baba said, it is very cold. Who gave you? Adi said, Alamai. So Mummy was called by Baba and then asked why the dal was very cold. So Mummy said that I told Adi to wait for some time, but he said that Baba was in hurry and give whatever is ready. So I gave him. Bas? हाँ बस बोलो. Once at Arnava's place, Baba told me that, do you remember me? I said yes. He said that don't think of any other except myself. I said yes. He told Mummy to make me remember. To Daddy also, that tell her to remember me daily. I said yes, but after a long time, we found that Baba was saving me from my neighbor. She was trying to trouble me and catch me up. And one day when I was out of the door, she came to touch my body, and only for Baba's sake I was put in my place. Otherwise she would have
help.